People get offended when they mistake the subject of a joke with the actual target.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily the same thing. You can make jokes about any subject. It depends what the joke is.
Yeah.
There's no rules. You can't joke about this. You can.
You should be
You
able
just
to.
can.
Yeah.
Okay? And there's nothing sacred.
Well, that's the point. There's nothing.
Ricky Gervais is the antidote to the echo chamber of outrage where humor goes to die. With surgical precision, he dissects the pretensions of the perpetually offended, revealing the absurd underbelly of modern discourse. Unflinching and unapologetic, Ricky's comedy is a battle cry for free speech, a defiant rejection of the culture of outrage that threatens to demolish the artificial boundaries of woke culture, refusing to be shackled by the chains of outrage. While others grovel in apology, he stands firm, unflinching in his commitment to comedy's true purpose: to provoke, to challenge, and to make us laugh. In a world where humor is increasingly hijacked by the forces of sanitized sensitivity, Ricky boldly defies the status quo, pushing the limits of what's acceptable and shattering the mold of conformity. His comedy is a rallying cry for those who crave authenticity, a fearless rejection of the suffocating grip of political correctness.
Oh, women. Not all women. I mean the old-fashioned ones. You know, the old-fashioned women. Oh, God. You know, the ones with wombs. Oh. Those fucking dinosaurs. No, I love the new women. I know the new women. They're great, aren't they? You know, the new ones we've been seeing lately. The ones with beards and cocks. They're as good as gold. I love them. No, it's the old-fashioned with it. And now the old-fashioned, they go, oh, they want to use our toilets. Why shouldn't they use your toilets? For ladies. They are ladies. Look at their pronouns. What about this person isn't a lady? Well, his her you fucking bigot. What if he rapes me? What if she rapes you? You fucking turf whore.
Ricky Gervais isn't just wading into the gender debate. He's taking a sledgehammer to the sacred cows of woke culture. With unflinching candor, he's exposing the emperor's new clothes, the absurd, contradictory, and often draconian dictates of the outrage mob. It's a world where logic is turned on its head, and dissent is silenced with accusations of bigotry. Ricky's humor is a much-needed corrective, a brutal takedown of the hypocrisy and groupthink that's suffocating our culture. He's not interested in sugarcoating the truth or sparing people's feelings. Instead, he's using humor to skewer the absurdity and reveal the underlying reality. The result is a comedy that's both unapologetic and unforgettable.
Let's have a look at Ricky Gervais.
Hi guys, Ricky G here, wellness and beauty influencer. As a celebrity, I know all about stuff, like science and politics, so trust me when I tell you who you should vote for. If you don't vote the right way, that's like a hate crime, or makes me sad and angry, and I'll leave the country. And you don't.
Welcome to the wild world of influencers, where self-proclaimed experts peddle miracle cures and moral absolutes to their adoring masses. Ricky Gervais masterfully lampoons this phenomenon, slicing through the pretensions of social media stardom with surgical precision. The absurdity is palpable. Individuals whose claim to fame rests on hawking detox teas and skincare products now dispense wisdom on politics and social justice. Ricky's humor deftly exposes the farce, reminding us that a large follower count doesn't confer intellectual or moral authority. As he so hilariously puts it, just because someone threatens to abandon their privileged bubble doesn't mean they're taking reason or reality with them.
Was I didn't have to worry about offending anyone because it just happens, so. And the big controversy last time I did it was a Caitlyn Jenner joke, right? Oh, outrage on Twitter the next day. And by outrage, I mean a couple of people going, it was transphobic. It wasn't transphobic in the slightest. It was a joke about a trans person, but the joke had nothing to do with that aspect of her existence. And that's the other thing about offence. People get offended when they mistake the subject of a joke with the actual target, and they're not necessarily the same. I'll tell you the joke, you make your own minds up, right? So, it's live, so they go, and now your host for the 68th Annual Golden Globe Awards, please welcome Ricky Gervais. They go, and they're all clapping, all the actors are looking up, smiling at me nervously. It's brilliant, right? So I just go, relax, I'm going to be nice tonight. I've changed. Not as much as Bruce Jenner. And I go, now Caitlyn Jenner, of course, and what a year she's had. Became a role model for trans people everywhere, bravely breaking down barriers and destroying stereotypes. She didn't do a lot for women drivers. So, that's a clever joke, and I'll tell you why, right? It's layered. No, listen, right? The subject of that joke is stereotypes. I'm playing with the notion of stereotypes, right? So I start off saying she's a real woman. Some would say a liberal, progressive attitude. Then I go, oh, if she's a real woman, I hit them with the old-fashioned reactionary stereotype. She must be a bad driver then, right? And the target of the joke is a celebrity killing someone in their car. Let's not forget that, shall we? A celebrity killing someone in their car, running home and popping on a dress. That's the target of the joke, just so we're clear, okay? She was interviewed about a week later at some press conference for a show she was launching, now cancelled. And the press were around and one of them said, what do you think of the Ricky Gervais joke? And she went, maybe I should host the Golden Globes, right? And they tweeted that and they atted me in because they want a celebrity feud, you know? It was clickbait, so I rose to the bait, obviously. I just sent back, let her host, just don't let her drive. Another website that was in the room, Entertainment Weekly, they tweeted a different headline and they atted me in as well. And their headline was, Caitlyn finally breaks silence over Ricky Gervais. I just sent back, at last. She always breaks too late. Bring it on. Bring it on. But I'm a considered comedian. I like my jokes to be accurate and my targets to be fair. So I was engaging these people. I was saying, why is it transphobic? And they were saying, it's about a trans person. I said, well, that's ridiculous. That's like saying a joke about Bill Cosby is automatically racist. It depends on the joke. But I was talking to them, I'm willing to learn, and I found out my crime was that I dead named her. Now, I'd never heard that term, before a day after the Golden Globes, and that was saying her old name, and even acknowledging that she used to be a man. But she did. I saw him on the Olympic Games. It was decathlete. It was in everything. He was all over the place. Shot put and pole vault. He won a medal. He was famous. He was on telly all the time. But a big, famous man with a huge. I don't know, but I mean, I'm guessing he's a big. But I've learned my lesson. Now, I'd never dead name her now. Now I know it's wrong. I'd never dead name her now. But like years ago, when she was a.
In the theater of woke culture, corporations take center stage, proclaiming their virtuous values while quietly exploiting labor behind the curtain. Ricky Gervais shines a spotlight on this hypocrisy, his sharp wit and fearless humor cutting through the smoke and mirrors. With surgical precision, he exposes the gaping disconnect between the woke brigade's words and actions. As the crowd scrambles to take offense, Ricky's steady hand guides us through the noise, revealing the messy truth beneath the surface. His comedy is a beacon of clarity, reminding us that there's often more to the story than meets the eye, and that the Emperor's new clothes aren't always as convincing as they seem.
Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist. So, fifth time. So, we were going to do an in memoriam this year, but when I saw the list of people that had died, it wasn't diverse enough. It was mostly white people, and I thought, nah, not on my watch. So, maybe next year. Let's see what happens.
Ricky Gervais wields his comedic genius like a scalpel, dissecting the zealotry of woke culture and transforming its excesses into humor that packs a knockout punch. While diversity is undoubtedly valuable, Ricky deftly skewers the absurdity that ensues when its agenda is pushed to extreme lengths, like demanding equality in even the most absurd contexts. With his trademark wit, Ricky issues a wake-up call, a refreshing blast of reality that reminds us not every aspect of life requires checking diversity boxes. His comedy is a liberating reminder that humor can be appreciated for its own sake, without being overanalyzed or politicized, and that sometimes the beauty lies in simply laughing without an agenda.
Call me Bobo. So I'm going to have species realignment. I'm halfway there, to be honest. I'm sort of short with short legs and long arms. I sort of stoop like that. My back's getting hairier by the day. I've got fangs. I love nuts. Oh, I love nuts. And once I was at the zoo and I could tell people were looking at me, so I just started masturbating. So I am a chimp, right? I am a chimp, if I say I'm a chimp. And so I've got to live as a chimp for a year, then have hormones, get me all nice and hairy. That'd be lovely, right? I'm going to stay a male chimp, so I can keep all that, right? A male heterosexual chimp, keep the same girlfriend. Jane will be happy. She loves me. She loves chimps, so, you know. And I reckon that's got to be easier for a man to turn into a chimp, we're so close, than for a man to turn into a woman in many ways. You know what I mean? A bit of hair and a top lip like that, as opposed to your cock and balls ripped off and a hole gouged out into... No, I'm not a doctor, but that is the gist of it. I know which one I'd rather have done, and I'm not saying I think chimps are better than women. No way. Right? Any ladies here, right? I can't see you, but to me, every single one of you is equal to a chimp. So...
In a jaw-dropping finale, Ricky Gervais plunges into the uncharted territory of identity politics, cleverly distilling its absurdities into the ridiculous concept of species realignment. This side-splitting satire shines a spotlight on the illogical extremes of woke culture. If self-identification knows no bounds, why indeed should humans be limited to being human? Ricky's comedy masterfully exposes the laughable underbelly of today's societal debates, using humor as a potent tool for social commentary. If you've enjoyed Ricky's hilarious takedown of woke absurdity, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more incisive content.